Well, well, well. Good evening, everybody. I see my mentor here. I'm set just knowing that you are here to support, and I am so excited. This is round three coming out of the locker room. Ready to go. I am just excited to be here this Friday night to share a little bit more about what we do to get friction out of our purposeful productivity system. You see, we all got something that we can work on, right? We're not surprised. But again, and I'm going to keep saying it, productivity is not about being busy. It's about being productive, which means we're creating value in our life. We're creating value in our business. We're creating value in our home. We're creating value in the relationships we have with people. So that's what we're going to talk about, the things that we need to do tonight to create. So we're going to try this again. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show tonight. I did it again. I did it again. I muted myself. I'm going to get this mute thing together, y'all. I'm going to get it together so that I don't mute myself. I tried to be muted so that when I started, I wasn't coughing on everybody or something or sneezing. But I'm a back. And so I am going to just do that intro real quick again. Welcome back for round three. Round three, y'all. We coming out of the locker room. Of course, the man, my mentor, my accountability partner, Mr. Strong is here. Thank you so much, sir, for joining and for being willing to continue to sew in. I learned some tricks this weekend from you, some tips this week from you from Wednesday night, y'all. So I'm going to shout him out. I'm going to embarrass him a little bit. But those who know me know I don't have a problem doing that because if I care about you, I care about you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. He did a live stream this week, this Wednesday, on overcoming camera shyness. And of course, that's something I need to work on, looking at the camera instead of everywhere else but looking at the camera, so that y'all know I'm concerned about you. But tonight is again about you. And we're going to talk about three core components of your productivity system. Yes, three core components, because if you get these down, you'll be good to go. I could say three core components that are friction free of your productivity system. And your productivity is not about being busy. We're going to throw that away. The word busy will not be coming out of our mouths anymore. But it's about creating value in your business, in your career, in your home, in your relationships. We can be busy all day and accomplish absolute nothing. But if we're productive, we're accomplishing those things that are important to us. And that's what we want to do. We want to accomplish things that are important to us. So I want to just welcome a few people. I'm going to start with the main man, Mr. Strong here with me tonight. He is saying it's showtime. Yes, indeed. I'm going to hop over to somebody else here. Felicia, thank you so much. I enjoyed our conversation today. Felicia is one of my colleagues in my day job. Y'all, she's one of my colleagues, and she's someone who I really have a lot of admiration for, and she's helping me get better and be productive. So I appreciate it. Of course, we have none other than Joshua Uell here with us this evening. Welcome back and thank you. And you know, I can't go anywhere, and literally I don't go hardly anywhere without this person, either literally with me or virtually with me, concerned. And that is my best friend in the world, Frank Jackson. the best friend anyone could ever have. So thank you, Frank. And then all the way from South Carolina, my good girlfriend Louise is here with us again. So excited to have y'all here. So we're going to have a conversation tonight. You know, I don't like one-way monologues. I like conversations. So y'all talk back to me. And if you're here as part of the live tribe, we're going to have fun. If you're not here tonight, or if you're listening and you're cooking dinner or feeding the children or getting them ready for bed or whatever it is you're doing, working out, go ahead. And when you get an opportunity, drop a note in the comments. Talk to me. Ask a question. I definitely want to be here for this community because this extended community is part of the Huddle community. And the Huddle community is led by, started by, run by, and cared for by none other than Mr. Walter Strong. So I am happy to be here. And what we're going to talk about again, 3 core components that are friction-free for your productivity system. Running right into it. The first one is a ubiquitous capture system. So it can be anything. We have thoughts all the time. All the time. Our mind is going. We talked about last week how many different places information can be coming to us. How many different places things that others want us to do can be coming to us. But if we don't get them down someplace that we can look at them and make decisions about what they are, whether they're important, whether they're part of what's important to us, where we're creating value in our system, in our lives, in our business, in our home, it's absolutely no good. Again, I ain't talking about tools. I'm not talking about apps. I'm not talking about none of that right now. I'm just talking about we want to get down all the stuff. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I did something a little bit foolish. One of my projects, and I lifted too much, and I was kind of down a little bit. Took some medicine and laid down and tried to recover. So I'm sitting a little funny today because my back is still bothering me. But while I was laying down, I had a lot of thoughts from the day running through my mind. I didn't feel like getting up, coming to my desk to get my red book because I had left it at the desk. So I keep these steno pads. I don't know if you can see it, but these steno pads, I keep them everywhere. They are great, just kind of chuck it kind of thing if you don't have a sticky note. And I use these when I got a lot that I want to get out. So I literally laid in the bed with a pen and paper and I just brain dumped 4 pages of stuff that was running through my mind. And today I was able to start working with it. So I submit that a good ubiquitous capture system is pen and paper. There are others. You could use something like the Apple Notes application on your phone or on your iPad or on your Mac, or the text editor on your Android computer. You could use a Google Doc, a Word doc, an Excel spreadsheet. All of them will work. And I do on occasion use even voice recording on occasion, because I told y'all voice recording to me, not a good combination. But for me personally, when I need to just get it out and I'm having all these thoughts, really, truly, pen and paper is my best tool. So if you haven't made a decision about what that is for you, and it may be more than one thing, it may be some options that you may have. You may want to have sticky notes. You may want to have a single book. I told you I keep my red book at my desk all the time, and when I go out, I carry it with me. But last night I didn't have it in the bed. So I just grabbed what stays by my bed on the nightstand. So whatever it is you use, have it available. I have pen and paper everywhere. Because when my mind is going and racing, I could be thinking about church. I could be thinking about volunteer service. I could be thinking about something in the house. I have a horror story to tell y'all that I had to think about today. I could be thinking about something going on with the channel, because this is new to me. I'm learning still. I'm in learning mode. So whatever it is, I want to get it out of my brain so that I'm not trying to hold on to it. I told you, Swiss cheese brain, not going to remember. So get it out, have a place. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be whatever it is, doesn't need to be fully fleshed out. It can be 1 or 2 words, because you're going to flesh it out later. But make a decision. So what I'm going to ask you to do, those of you who are part of the live tribe and who are here, if you have something or some things that you use today to just brain dump, get it out. Not perfect. You haven't said when, how, none of that. Just, it's in my mind. I want to get it out, and I want to be able to come back to it. Put it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. We're gonna see what you got, what you're working with today. That's component number 1, and it is the most important one, because we collect and get and think of information non-stop. Our brains are the most powerful computer on the world, which means it's always working. The second component is a working calendar or multiple calendars. Let me explain what I mean by multiple calendars and a working calendar. A working calendar is something that is really, it's works. It works for you. You put information in, it tells you where to show up, what's important for the day or the week. It tells you when. It tells you who. Let me give you an example. Yes, I see somebody. So we're going to come back to that. Thank you for seeing where you do your brain dumping. Your calendar. I use multiple calendars. That's why I said calendars. I color code, and very specific colors have really clear meaning for me. So there's a color anytime I look at something in a certain color, it means ministry to me. I look at another color, it means something in my home. I look at another color, it means me personally. It's just about me, Florence, with all my extraness. If I look at another color, it means business. So I have different colors and the way I manage it is I have all of those on their own calendar. But I see them all together. Oops, I moved my microphone. I see them all together in one view. And that is why I said multiple calendars. Now I have a funny, because I'm not quite 20 yet anymore. So I still keep a wall calendar in the kitchen. I grew up in a home where there was a family calendar in the kitchen, and I still keep a wall calendar in my kitchen. It's not everything, but I tried taking it down, and I found for me, not having that calendar there, it did something. I couldn't figure out where I was in the month. Really, really very small key pieces of information that I needed to see when I'm in the kitchen is there. So that may be you. Yes, I have a phone, and my calendar syncs to my phone, and all of that stuff. But I still use that wall calendar. So you may have multiple calendars. Now, what do I mean by working? We may go a little bit longer than 7 tonight, but I'm going to try to keep it right on track. The things to put on the calendar are not just appointments. In my work, of course, I put appointments, and those who know me, if my calendar tells me to show up, unless there's a really important or something I can't control, like last night I almost couldn't get out of bed, I will show up where my calendar tells me to show up. But I also put on, and I would encourage you if you don't today, other very important information for the day. It could be the contact information in the description for someone. It could be links that you need to get to quickly for the day. It could be any other kinds of checklists that you want. One of the things I do with my some of the people that I coach is if they're not going to be available, I'll just put an all-day reminder at the top of my calendar so I know that they're not going to be available, that they're going to be out of the office or whatever. I have things that I do every week is baked into my calendar so they don't move. I know which things I can be flexible. That's what I mean by a working calendar. It works for you. It is not something that you think about and only when you have rare events. It is literally what drives your day. Then you can see how much of my day is committed to other things. How much of my day is committed to my family? How much of my day is committed to my business? How much of my day is committed to ministry? How much of my day is committed to my health? The calendar works for you and making it so that you know exactly where it is, exactly what you put on there, how you phrase it, makes it friction free, and have it where it works in your normal workflow. If you've got to go find it, or if you've got to take extra steps to get something in there, it's not working for you and it's creating friction and you're not going to use it. So just so you know, a working calendar is the second part. The third part is an action tracker, because outside of those planned events we have, and we've brain dumped all this stuff, now we've got real actions we need to take. What are they? Some people call this a to-do list. I don't call it a to-do list. Some people call it a task manager. I don't call it a task manager. I call it an action tracker because the way and we'll talk about this later, the way I phrase things is all about what is the very next physical action I need to take. Give you an example. I may brain dump and say, follow up with Louise about whatever it is. Follow up is not an action. That's an idea. I would think to myself on my action tracker, am I going to send her a chat message? Am I going to send her a text message? Am I going to call her? Am I going to send her an email? How am I going to do that? What is the physical thing I'm going to do? Not the result that I'm looking to get, the thing that I'm going to do. Physical action that I have to take. That is what goes on my action tracker. Once I've taken that action, now I can go to the next step. So if you can do it in your brain dump system, you can do it in a separate app, you can do it on a piece of paper, but whatever your action tracker is, for me, I actually have two, partially because I keep my work action separate from everything else, and it has to do with the type of work I do and where I work. But ultimately, when I'm processing my brain dump, because all my brain dump stuff goes together, I know exactly where I'm going to put it, and I know exactly what my day is going to look like, and I keep them so that it's easy. I don't have to think about it. It's baked in. It works immediately. And when I look at it, I know exactly what I have to do at that time in the day. So those are some things. So we've got some folks who shared with us. I'm going to show you some of the things that they did. They're saying, Josh is saying that he color codes his brain dump in Evernote. Okay, I like it. Felicia, you use Google Docs for your brain dump. That works. Mr. Strong says he uses Google Docs for a brain dump. Wonderful tool. You can do a lot with it. And if it works for you and it's friction free, if you have it on your phone, if you're at your computer, if you can get the information in quickly, that's what's important, that you don't have to look for it. You don't have to take any extraordinary steps. It's just get it out. I'm not saying what to do with it at the moment, but just get those brain dumping things out. Capture all the stuff into one place. And if you do like I had to do last night, put it on a piece of paper, I come back and put it in my main systems afterwards. But just to brain dump, I often will use paper. So I shared a horror story. Today when I was doing final preparation for tonight, y'all, I broke my computer monitor. Like when I say I broke it, I completely broke it. Like it has to be thrown away. It will not work. So I'm going how am I going to do this without a computer monitor? I can't see anything. So I was like, okay, friction free, solve the problem. So tonight I'm using a television, the one that's usually behind me. The television I moved it to the desk. I hooked up the HDMI cable and I said, this is going to work tonight. So if you have a system, I knew what I was going to talk about. I had the presentation ready, so I didn't have to worry about that. I just needed to get something visual so I could see. I didn't have to worry. I didn't have a whole lot that I had to go find. I just had to figure out how to hook up the monitor. So y'all, help is all I could say. So we're looking at a new setup tonight. Yes, thank you so much for problem solving, because I was like, oh, on day 3, I'm not going to miss it. No. Now, later on, I may ask Mr. Strong, what should I have done differently? But I'm here with y'all. So we have 3 things that we're going to do. We got folks who are saying they're using Google Docs, they're using Evernote, me over here using pen and paper. But all of it will work for you. You just have to make sure what you are using works for you. And I'm going to hammer that home. Not what works for your neighbor, for your colleague, for your significant other, for anybody else, but just simply what works for you. And I will continue to talk about, if you're finding any friction whatsoever, figure out what it is when you're doing an assessment, and then decide what you're going to do to get rid of that friction point. In these 3 places that we talked about, or these 3 components we talked about tonight. So what I'm going to do is ask you to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, whether you're part of the live tribe or whether you are part of the replay crew. If you're listening and you're not able to jump in right now and share with us, come on and subscribe. Know when the next session is coming up, when our next conversation is going to happen, and then share it. Share what we're talking about here with others in your social media circle, with your family, your friends, your colleagues, other content creators, other professionals, and hit that little bell thing so you get notifications for when I'm going live. And I promise you, eventually I will stop muting myself. And just come on and join us on Equip Institute is the name of the channel. My name again is Florence. I'm excited to be here. We talk about personal and purposeful productivity. Why? Because it's about you. And productivity is purposeful because you are doing something to make a difference in your life that is important to you. So let's go ahead and summarize tonight. And I want to share, you want to create and define your friction-free capture system. Someplace in some way that you get all the stuff down that comes, especially brain dumping, because you've already made a list of all of the other places that things come in. So that's external to you. But what comes out of your mind, you got to have it in one place. You got to be able to get it quickly, because thoughts are fleeting, we'll lose them quickly, and be able to go back to them. The second thing is, once you have that and you're using it, also incorporate a friction-free set of calendars. It doesn't matter. It can be Google Calendar, it can be Apple Calendar, it can be a wall calendar, it can be wherever you want it to be, but make your calendar work for you. Put overalls on that thing. Have it do the work so your mind is not having to do the work. All it does, you look at it and you trust it, and your mind will trust it. And it will say, hey, at 3 o'clock, be here. At 10 o'clock, be here. I've got 30 minutes here. I've got 25 minutes there. It will manage that for you, and that means you're not managing it. I know even now, the way I plan my calendar, what time I start preparing for this time at 6:30. I know what time I'm going to set up, turn lights on, and all that kind of stuff. That's how I broke the monitor today. But anyway, I know that because it's baked into my calendar at this point. And I know that I'm not going to let other things interrupt that time. And I don't have to think about it. My calendar works for me. The last one, of course, is then putting together your friction-free action tracker. We're going to dig into these a little bit more, but this is the introduction. But not a to-do list, not a task manager, an action tracker. What are the actual actions you need to take? Not the ideas and not the results. The results are in projects, but what are the action steps you're having to take? Very physical, small, little things. You can get a lot of them done quickly if you lay them out in a way that makes sense. We're going to talk about that in a future episode. How do I lay this out every day? I do this process every day. I brain dump every day. I check my calendar every day. My calendar may say, get up in the morning, go through my morning routine, and the rest of the day is rest and relax. That's fine. I've given myself permission to rest and relax all day. I don't have to think about being anyplace else. So that's the kind of thing you can do. But if I've got a full day like it was today, I know it ahead of time. And the last one is in between all of those scheduled events and appointments and discovery calls and other things you're doing and interviews you're holding, what are the physical actions you have to take? So if you've gotten value today, go ahead and share it. And I'm going to ask you to do something. Beyond sharing what your brain dump system is, I want you to commit to take action. And if you're here with us live, share in chat how you're going to take action on any of the 3 components that we talked about today. I want to celebrate with you that you're taking action to elevate your productivity, not to reinvent it, because again, you have something you already use. We're talking about elevating it, taking it to a new level so that you are able to accomplish more of what you want to accomplish. Share it. Talk back to me. Commit to take action. What's the action you're going to take? Anything from today. Would love to see it. So I'm going to give that a few minutes, and while I'm giving you a few minutes to think about and share what you're going to take away, a reminder, hit the like button. If you haven't, hit the like button on the little YouTube and let people know, let the broader audience of YouTube know that we're here having a conversation that's valuable to you, not just about me, because this is about you. I want to share with you and have these conversations that make a difference in your life and help you to elevate. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. We got some feedback here. Let's share it. Mr. Strong says, putting his calendar to work going forward. Yes, put some overalls on that thing. Mr. Strong, you have us in the huddle community. Absolutely put some overalls on it and make it go to work for you. You're doing a lot. And oh my goodness, Robert, thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm going to share what he said. It's not what he's doing, but he's saying it looks great. Thank you. I'm using a makeshift system tonight. And but it's okay. I am not even saying how I broke the monitor. Don't. I'll just say this. I'm a klutz. But it's okay. I'm a happy klutz. And so Josh says it's to share my replay with your colleagues. Well, thank you. This is about your productivity system, but thank you. I appreciate it. And we had a good time tonight. We are at time. It is 6:58. And we're going to get out of here. So I'm going to first say thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for making commitment to elevate your productivity system in a way that makes sense to you. We are here right now every Friday night at 6:30. And we're talking about and having a conversation about your purposeful productivity system that is personal to you. Last week, if you haven't had, thank you. If you haven't had a chance to see it or share it, we talked about where to start elevating your productivity system. So there's a place you start, and there's some things you need to do, and we shared it. Go back and watch that again. And then in the context of what we talked about today, these three key components, what can you do? What can you do to apply these lessons and have them real in your life? So with that, I'm going to say good night. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next Friday at 6:30 p.m.